Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to talk to you about Riftwatchers and how this pack is subject to price decline. I keep hearing from our community that Riftwatchers is insulated or protected or defended against price decline, that these prices have remained stable and that they will remain stable. And I think the argument is something like there's not very many packs and therefore the price will stay stable. I disagree, and I think it's deeply important that you understand my reasoning for disagreeing, because I think it impacts how we envision rebellion as an investment. And I think if you get this wrong, you position yourself to financially lose. So I hope you'll stick around for this one. Stay tuned. If you're interested in Splinterlands or blockchain-based video games and you want to understand how I receive reward for my time and attention using crypto games, then like and subscribe. Okay, so yeah, this is like coming. This is a couple weeks coming. I've heard this sentiment be shared around Riftwatchers, and Aftersound has. Well, I love Aftersound. This is not a slam. Aftersound is one of my favorite content creators. I watch almost every one of his videos. If you don't subscribe to him, you need to subscribe to him. But I've heard him say this, and Aftersound, if you see this one, I'd love to have you on. We'll talk about it or something, because I want to challenge you on some of the thinking I think I hear you sharing, which is that this pack set has held its value, and it will hold its value better than some others because it has limited supply. It has limited supply because there's only 3 million packs created, and now some have been burnt and some are going to the DAO, and therefore maybe only 2 will ever reach sort of the marketplace. When we compare that to Chaos Legion, which many people believe there was too many created and they'll never appreciate again. I don't share that view, which had 12 million sell. They want to say something like 12 million is too many. If we just keep the sales to 1 to 3 million, the cards will sustain their value because the supply will be insubstantial, inadequate, and that'll drive price appreciation. And that's the story that they tell themselves around Riftwatchers. And that's maybe why they justify buying them today. And even why over the last 10 days, we've seen an unreasonable and I think unsustainable price increase in Riftwatchers. Maybe that in part though is the new recent airdrop too. So we'll get into all of this, but the long and the short of it is this question: does Riftwatchers have a unique position that will protect it against price decline in the future? If so, what is that unique advantage? Will that unique advantage apply to Rebellion? Let's get into it. I do not agree. I don't think so. And I've followed the data for several months. I've tracked the data on the price of my deck since May 5th, 2023. And that's 7 months ago up to today, which is November 16th. As you can see, from May 5th to November 6th, the price decline of my Riftwatcher cards, which are right down here, was from $2,050 to $1,600 or $1,597. That's about a 23% price decline. That's a substantial decline. Now, 10 days ago, the price increased substantially, but 2 things have happened in that time period. We had a recent airdrop. I got 2 of those airdrop cards. They're worth $25 each or something. So that's $50 right there. And that's adding into my price value over here. And secondly, I think this narrative has been picking up. I think this narrative has been grabbing the sales and pushing this asset forward. But look, also, all of the assets many of the assets have appreciated. Chaos Legion prices have gone up. Dice have gone up. Chaos Legion prices have gone up. Dice they've stayed stagnant. Untamed is up. Reward are significantly up. Betas are significantly up. And even alphas are a little tick up. So card assets have ticked up, maybe because land is closer. Riftwatchers has ticked up, definitely because of that airdrop. And secondly, because maybe this narrative of Riftwatchers being impervious to decline is starting to take root. And that's why this video. I want to push against that because I don't think that's true. And so I want to now start explaining why I think actually Riftwatchers might have the price stability it has had so far, and why I do not believe that will be long-term sustainable. First though, I want to say that the articulation that 1 to 3 million packs is some sort of magic number, that if we keep the pack issuance lower than that, then we're going to see price stability on Riftwatchers or Rebellion or a future pack. I don't think that's true. I think that's what we've convinced ourselves of because Untamed sold 1.5 million packs, and those prices have sustained sustained like a relatively high value. But here's the thing, even those cards have fallen. And I think as we look to when they fell, let's look up that data again. You start to see something. Untamed in May of 2023, $8,900. That's my Untamed deck. And now as I fast forward to November 6th, or today's date, 4,100. We're less than half. I lost probably 54% of the value on that in the last 7 months. So Untamed only sold 1.5 million packs. Why shouldn't, I thought like fewer packs meant price stability. No. Yes and no. So that's a half truth. Limited supply does impact the card value, but the demand is the other side of the equation. The demand is the issue that I think is key to us understanding that will allow you to benefit from within your card collection and positioning yourself with Rebellion and with Riftwatchers and with every future pack to come. It's not, I think the argument being espoused by Aftersound and others, not just him, is that the supply is limited on these packs. Untamed, Riftwatchers, even Rebellion, because we don't really think all 10 million will sell. And because of that, we can expect and predict price stability. And I think that's half true because, yes, again, supply matters in the conversation around price stability, but demand is just as equally important. And I think I can articulate an important consideration for how demand is actually the driving consideration, and supply is sort of the backseat consideration. So the supply matters, but demand is pronounced for Riftwatchers in a way that distinguishes it from other packs like Untamed that sold just as many packs, roughly. Because again, some of these are ending up in the DAO and some of them got burnt. But Untamed has lost a lot of its value, and Riftwatchers has held its value. Again, even in the most recent data, it has fallen. It's only about 6 or 7% down in the last 10 days. You might say, look, Dwayne, that is indicative. This price here is indicative of it holding its value. Well, it's still down 6 or 7% from 7 months ago. Plus, that's with adding airdrops in the process. Along the way, I've got Riftwatcher airdrop cards that have added to my Riftwatcher collection. So you have to take those away before you start comparing apples to apples with May, first off. And second off, it's not about demand. It's not about supply. It's about demand. The demand for Riftwatchers is uniquely sustained. That is why it's held its value to the extent it has. And again, its price has declined with every other asset in this game, but it has sustained itself in a slightly unique way because it is available and provides a utility that some of the other cards do not. When you play in the rank battles, in Modern League, you can currently use Riftwatcher cards, just like you can currently use Untamed cards. But as we've moved closer and closer to Rebellion, we've seen the price decline on Untamed. Because Untamed they're crappy? No. Because Untamed had too much supply? No. Because the utility of Untamed has diminished in the recent weeks because we're leading up to a place when Rebellion will launch and Untamed will move out of the Modern. And because humans play in Modern, that's the league where a lot of the real active players and investors are participating, and therefore they care about those cards, not the other ones. So what I'm saying is that the demand, the utility of cards that are available in Modern will always be greater than those that are just available in Wild. Currently, Untamed cards are playable in Modern and Wild. Their utility is greater today than it will be after Rebellion, when it's only playable in Wild. Right now, Riftwatchers is playable in Modern and Wild. So its utility is at its apex. As we get closer and closer to the release of not just Rebellion, but the following pack that will remove Riftwatchers, you will see the similar price decline that you're seeing with Untamed now. I'm confident of that. Unless we happen to have a concurrent bull market, which is going to drive everything up. But I'm saying that don't count on supply being the only consideration to why a pack will appreciate or depreciate, and the cards within will, whether they'll appreciate or depreciate. Understand the power and the impact of demand, and demand is dependent upon utility, and utility is at its greatest when they're playable in modern and wild, plus tournaments, plus guild brawls, etc., etc. And so that's the secret sauce for why Riftwatchers has, to the extent that it has, held its value. But I'm telling you, it hasn't really held its value. So one last time, this data reflects 2 of the recent inevitable airdrops, which are worth about $20-25 each. That's $50 there. Then there's also the immolation is in there, and all the other airdrops that have come with this one. Each one of these airdrops has been one that I've received and I've gotten copies of. And so that's a new addition to my pack from May till now that have added value to my collection, augmenting the data. And if you really unpack what each of these is worth, this is worth about $22, this is worth about $20, this is worth, I think, $15 or $20, and same 12 or 15 bucks. That's hundreds of dollars that then change the data, which reveal the fact that it absolutely has declined. So I have 2 conclusions for you. The first is that Riftwatchers is not immune from price decline. And in fact, objectively, the prices have fallen on Riftwatcher cards and packs. That's the first important thing. So don't believe some people saying that they're not going to fall or that they haven't fallen. The second is that they will fall more. And you can actually predict that when they get closer and closer to falling out of modern. Because I'm saying that the complicated nature of price appreciation or price sustaining on any asset for anything in the world is dependent on 2 functions, demand and supply. Supply is absolutely important, but if that were the only thing that mattered, then Untamed wouldn't have lost value because they're so rare. But even alphas and betas, which are even more rare, would never have lost value. And as you well know, they have fallen. And as the data shows, in May 2023, alphas were more than double what they are today. So they're even more scarce. So if scarcity or supply is the only issue, then they should have grown or sustained themselves, but it's not the only issue. Demand is a function of utility, and utility has gone lower since we've essentially impacted how bots can be used or not used. And the price, essentially we've pushed them out of guild brawls, and we push them out of tournaments, and we push them out of, right? So that's affected alphas and betas in a big way. And so the only real issue, the main issue in my argument, is not how many packs are being printed. And therefore I would never believe that Riftwatchers, though it is limited in supply, will hold its value. Same with Rebellion. And I think if you understand this, you're going to come to a place of utility matters. You're not going to look so much at supply, and that is important, but you're not going to look first and foremost at it. You're going to look at functionality, which translates to demand, and then supply, to formulate your expectations on price stability or appreciation. Finally, it's a whole other conversation, and maybe it's a totally separate video, but I do believe all of these assets will appreciate with time. I do think Rebellion and Riftwatchers are great investments for the long time. And in the current moment, they will allow you to unlock rewards, SPS, more cards, and even, of course, merits and guild brawl success or tournament success. All that's great and it matters. But the important thing to understand is that it's not just about holding its value. Across a long enough time horizon, I really believe that all of these assets, alpha, beta, promo, reward, chaos, dice, untamed, Riftwatchers, and Rebellion, and every other set, I believe will thrive and appreciate. So I'm not trying to slag Rebellion. I'm not trying to slag Riftwatchers. I'm just saying that supply is not the main consideration nor the only consideration. I actually think demand is far more important. And I think my argument for why those packs have relatively held their values, yes, they've fallen, but that the newer packs have relatively held is because they have increased utility, playable in modern, attractive to a certain audience, and that power is important for their price stability. But that power will predictably be erased as Riftwatchers and then Rebellion in turn are removed from modern. So be ready for this. Don't think for a moment that Riftwatchers is unique in its ability to resist depreciation. Understand the true fullness of why their prices have been kind of stable. And don't get fooled, they have not been stable. They've fallen substantially in the last 7 months, and before that even more. But they have and they will appreciate again in the future if this game is going to land where they're aiming, which is significant adoption, significant player growth, significant priced SPS that drives in new attention. And that is where I see this going because of everything that land is going to do, and because of Flywheel, and because of, Web3 is just so basic and rudimentary at this moment. Most people don't even know about it, but when they do, I think they'll come because time and attention is worth something, and that ability to reward players for that effort is meaningful. It's revolutionary. So I hope this comes across in the right way. I appreciate everything Aftersound does, and this is not even a direct call out to him directly. I've heard this from several comments and content creators. But yes, Riftwatchers is not uniquely positioned to hold its value. It has fallen in price. It will fall more. But it also proves the point that utility for cards matters when you look at price. Riftwatchers has unique utility as playable content within the Modern League. And when that utility is erased, expect the price to decline, at least for a period of time before they start to have their own niche and their own scarcity and as being OG cards, which they one day will be. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless.